Welcome. Join me on a journey through the story of Marvel's Avengers as we dive soon into Crystal Dynamics' next DLC, War for Wakanda. Sit back and enjoy. Part 1. The Assemble Campaign. A-Day. We open up to the story with Kamala and her father Abu as they board a SHIELD Quinjet on their way to an epic event known as A-Day, celebrating its new base of operations in San Francisco, as well as debuting the Chimera, a newly built helicarrier with a new power source, the Terrigen reactor. We follow Kamala along the park while she gathers comics and gets to meet her favorite heroes. We soon cut to an incident at the Golden Gate Bridge. The Avengers gear up for a potential disaster. As the Avengers work to clear the bridge, the Chimera's security protocols have been initiated, and is now on autopilot. While on board the Chimera, Cap notices the reactor seems to be malfunctioning and is seeing strange readings from the bay. The citizens on board the Chimera are in a panic to get on board a Quinjet to safety. It is revealed the one causing such chaos on the bridge is none other than Tony Masters, aka Taskmaster, and he's armed with a sonic bomb. Natasha works to disarm the trigger device from him, while the other Avengers work to keep the bridge intact while fighting off Taskmaster's goons. After an incredible action sequence, Natasha brings down Taskmaster and disarms the bomb. However, the battle isn't won. Taskmaster tells Natasha the world will remember this day, the day their heroes failed them. We cut back to the Chimera as it is now emitting some strange energy that is channeling something within the bay. Citizens are trying to escape onto Quinjets, and moments later, the Terrigen reactor explodes, with Cap and Tarleton still aboard.
5 years ago, the Avengers paraded dangerous, untested technology causing damage on an unprecedented scale. Our beloved Captain America was killed during the attempted theft of this technology. Thousands of other innocent people died, and many more still bear the scars of what has come to be known as A-Day. Hundreds fell sick, encased in strange cocoons, only to emerge with dangerous, otherworldly powers. With no known cure, the disease has spread across the country, and while both S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Avengers promised to rectify the situation, it was Dr. Banner's testimony that brought about the end of an era.
You so-called heroes transformed San Francisco into an infectious, gas-filled quarantine zone. You unleashed diseased, powerful beings that wreak havoc throughout our nation. Many still lay dormant, unidentified. So I ask you again, Dr. Banner, do the Avengers pose a danger to society?
Yes. Their activities outlawed, the once mighty heroes disbanded. But out of tragedy is born hope. After the government liquidation of Stark Industries, Dr. George Tarleton, himself a victim of A-Day and founder of Advanced Idea Mechanics, thinks science is the solution to our nation's problems.
I wish I knew what happened to Captain Rogers that day, but I was nowhere near the reactor room. I don't have those answers, but I can promise you this. I will use this second chance to make you safe. AIM will find a cure for the inhuman disease.
The resistance against AIM. We jump 5 years after the events of A-Day and are met with an older Kamala Khan who is trying to track down some info on the Avengers and Resistance. And after figuring out Tony's very easy password, she copies what data she can from AIM and takes it to her secret hideout. There she finds partial footage showing what happened in the reactor room to Cap. She believes he was set up. Moments later, a mysterious name known as Tiny Dancer tells Kamala AIM is onto her and to meet her at Heroes Park. We're taken on a stealthy journey through the park as Kamala weaves through AIM bots only to be caught by Tarleton and Monica. Tarleton tries to persuade Kamala to let him help her. She refuses and escapes and fights her way to the bus station with some help. Finding Bruce. We shortly cut to Utah where Kamala ventures to find the Resistance, but instead finds what looks to be an abandoned Chimera. Soon enough, we find out the Hulk has been living there, keeping guard of Captain America's shield. After Kamala's running with the Hulk, she decides to leave, but not long after, more aimbots show up, and in response, Kamala activates her first and begin. Soon after, the Hulk also joins the fight. Kamala soon passes out and reawakens to a Bruce Banner, and she shares why she's been chased by AIM. Bruce sees the footage Kamala stole from AIM, but doesn't want to help. He still feels guilt for what happened on A-Day, for what he caused with the inhuman outbreak. After short deliberation, Bruce joins Kamala in getting Jarvis back to look for Tony. They head over to one of the AIM archives. They encounter AIM soldiers and continue pressing their way through, and after Kamala finds Jarvis, she's met by Abomination. Hulk takes him down. Kamala and Bruce head back to their Chimera. Unfortunately, Jarvis's neural uplink was damaged when the Chimera crashed. This leads Bruce and Kamala to S.H.I.E.L.D. bunker containing the materials needed to get Jarvis up and running. Finding Tony. Next, we move on to finding Tony Stark in Golden Acres at his ancestral land. Bruce and Tony argue about how the team failed, how they knew the reactor was unstable but still paraded around to the public. After much banter, Tony finally views the footage and they are warned again by our friend Tiny Dancer, who says AIM is coming. Tony suits up into his makeshift armor and our little team battles against Tarleton's aimbots. They are successful in fighting off AIM. We then cut to Tarleton, who now looks more and more like the MODOK we know and love from the comics. Abomination challenges Tarleton, but it's here we see just how twisted he's starting to become. Back at the Chimera, Tony wants to get it in the air but realizes they'll need some initiator cores to get it going. This next leads Tony to get parts from a dropship to repair the fabrication machine to create his iconic suit. After repairing his suit, Kamala, Bruce, himself split to look for some initiator cores. Bruce and Kamala meet Hank Pym in their venture and he gives them with what they need. Kamala meets more Inhumans like herself at the anthill, and is torn when she realizes there are hundreds of others still captured in a base not too far away. This leads Kamala to attempt a solo prison break, but before even making it inside, she gets herself caught. Finding Black Widow. We cut to Monica as it's revealed her cure really isn't working, and they've shifted focus into stealing the captured Inhumans' powers and enhancing their Adaptoid program. It's shortly revealed who our friend Tiny Dancer really is, and it's been Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow, all along. We journey along the base to find and release Kamala and the other trapped Inhumans. We battle Monica and take her prisoner aboard the Chimera. Bruce then questions her, but it's revealed Monica let herself get captured so they could find out where the Avengers were hiding. Hundreds of AIM-bots invade the Chimera, and we are introduced to the God of Thunder himself as he summons Mjolnir to help fight off AIM. After a narrow escape, our Avengers meet at the war table and see a full footage from A-Day, fully decrypted. It is revealed Cap told Tarleton to shut the reactor doors, and he smashed the reactor. This leaves the team shocked, and not too long after, they argue amongst each other. Nat and Thor leave, Tony and Bruce fight. Kamala learns about where Monica's secret base of operations is located. Bruce, Tony, and Nat are back and ready to uncover the mystery of this base, which is located in space. Tony preps his spacesuit after acquiring the Pym particles from Hank. Finding Cap. As Tony enters the space station, he notices it's abandoned. While exploring, he finds a chamber and out emerges Steve Rogers. A shock as now we know he didn't die in the explosion on A-Day. The secret to Monica's regenerative formula lies within Cap's blood, and now that her base has been discovered, she sets it to self-destruct. This leaves Steve and Tony to run and find the nearest escape pods. They barely escape, but with no power, this leaves them just drifting in space. Steve confesses to Tony that on A-Day, something in the bay was somehow linked to the reactor, and that if he didn't smash it, millions more would have died. And to our surprise, Thor appears and rescues Steve and Tony. Soon after, Tarleton discovers he's been fooled and taken advantage of. He blames Monica for turning him into what he is. In his rage, he injects Monica with her own serum, killing her. Tarleton vows he will rid the Earth of superpowers, even if it has to end with him. Finale. With the Avengers fully assembled, they head down to Manhattan to save the Inhumans being threatened by a warship with the intent on dispersing Dark Terrigen to take them out. After taking down the warship, they retrieve its data and head back to the Chimera to discover the origin of where it came from. The team finds out the original location of this warship came from San Francisco and it's been armed with cloaking tech. They also find out Tarleton plans on releasing hundreds of these warships. With this, our heroes suit up in their new Stark Tech gear for the final battle. They enter Tarleton's base of operations and fight their way to Tarleton, who has now branded himself as MODOK, a mental organism designed only for killing. The Avengers come together, and you swap between them as you take down MODOK, eventually bringing him down to the point he summons his great weapon, the Kree Sentry, which is what was lying beneath the bay attracted to the Terrigen reactor all those years ago. The team starts to become overpowered, and Kamala steps up to the plate. She grows to a massive size and fights off the Sentry. She takes it and MODOK down before passing out once again. MODOK falls out the Sentry's head, but it's unclear what has happened to him. Kamala wakes and is given praise from her fellow Avengers. Soon after, Kamala arrives home to a happy ending, or so we thought. Heading back to the Kree Sentry site, a beacon is sent out to space, alerting the Kree. Heading back to AIM, it is revealed Monica is actually alive and she has been utilizing inhuman powers that allow her to create clones of herself. This all sets us up for the story after the Assemble campaign, Taking AIM, the introduction into Kate Bishop, and what Monica has in store for us next. Part 2, Taking AIM, Kate Bishop. As part of this DLC, we're introduced into a new hub, Substation 0, and there we meet Maria Hill in person for the first time. Our first mission assigned by Alessandre Morales is to look into these tachyon storms and what's causing them. The Avengers arrive to investigate an AIM facility located in the Pacific Northwest. It's here we have an unknown visitor later to be revealed as Kate Bishop. After the mission, we head back to Substation 0, and Kate informs Tony that she and Clint were looking into what happened to Director Fury after A-Day. They had stumbled upon a tachyon project from AIM, and shortly after, Clint disappeared too. Kate believes the tachyon eruptions, Clint, and Fury are all connected in some way. She lets us know that Dr. Lyle Getz is at the center of all this, and they make their way to get him any information they can about his work on tachyons. After retrieving Getz, he confirms that Monica is also working with tachyons, but what she's doing is much more reckless. And not too long after, Pym calls in and tells where the origin of the tachyon storms are. The team heads to Siberia to get some recon on what Monica is really up to. After reaching the base and making it inside, we find Monica and she's got a time bridge open and is communicating with her future self. They are discussing progress on her weapon. Surprise to us, Clint is there and walks through the time bridge after saying he'll do his part. The team falls back and realizes whatever Monica is sending through time is what's causing these tachyon disruptions. Kate's idea is to build their own time bridge and save Clint and cut off Monica from her future self. After getting these materials that they need to form their own time bridge, they plan on saving Clint. The team travels back in time to intercept Clint before he's taken to the future. Clint reveals that when he disappeared, he was taken by AIM, and Fury was also there. Both of them had found plans related to something called Project Omega. Monica claims she is trying to stop an apocalypse. Fury agreed to help her, and he sent a message for Clint, and Monica decided to send Clint in after him. Clint tells Kate they need to destroy the bridge from both sides and trap her weapon in one timeline before it causes any more damage. The team makes it back to the time bridge, and Monica sends over the super adaptoid to defend Project Omega. After taking down the super adaptoid, the bridge reopens and Kate readies herself to destroy it from her end. Clint narrowly makes it back just before a Kree sentry gets too close for comfort. After making it back to the Chimera, Clint shares his intel about the future. He confirms the Kree sentry is extraterrestrial and that in the future, they get attacked by a warrior race known as the Kree. And it's an invasion that ends the world. Future Monica is working with Nick Fury to save the Earth. And she ran out of time in the future to build her own weapon, so she brought it to the past to finish it. Clint goes into a coma, and this brings us into the next DLC, Future Imperfect. Part 3, Future Imperfect. We begin several weeks after Clint has gone into a coma. There are tachyons following the Chimera, and you can see flashes of Kree ships. As the storms continue racing on, we see future version of Clint via a vision. We follow him along his journey in this vast wasteland as he heads over to distress signals in search of Fury. In this vast wasteland, many aimbots still carry out old protocols, and continue coming up from the ground to get in Clint's way. We see many Kree sentry limbs and destroyed buildings, further showing the battle that was lost to the Kree. Eventually, Old Man Clint listens to a message from Fury himself via a hologram saying,
To any surviving Avengers, should we lose the fight ahead of us? Should everything be lost? Then know this. The key to saving our future lies in the past.
Old Man Clint arrives in Pym's old base featuring a time bridge. He activates it to send a message back, and hopefully somebody got it. We cut back to the present, and Clint immediately wakes up. His first mission back, he needs to retrieve all his intel he got on Project Omega back in Brooklyn. After fighting some watchdogs and getting his dog Lucky back, we arrive back at the Chimera with Clint's data. After Pym analyzes the data from AIM, he talks to Clint about how they're messing with cosmic energy, and how it has the ability to alter everything, unlike tachyons which only alter time. Pym then decides to modify the Quinjet to carry a team through to the future to find Fury. After arriving in the future, Kate and Clint work to figure out where the secret of Fury is. They find some shield-resistant survivors and work to get back to the base, before the mercenaries that work for the Supreme Leader catch them. Shortly after entering the base, they are discovered by a future taskmaster. He teleports away and you're left to battle aimbots. Soon after, present and future Clint meet each other. From the data they have, they believe Fury's possible last known location is Substation 99. As they head there, Old Man Clint warns them that it's in the middle of Supreme Leader's territory. After fighting loads of aimbots and mercenaries, they discover where the Avengers fell. They enter the substation, and it's revealed that the Supreme Leader is none other than Maestro. Clint and the team work to fight against Maestro, and they take him down using some gamma arrows. Old Man Clint questions him about Fury, and Maestro responds with,
"You never ventured beyond the storm. You coward. We unleashed forces we didn't understand. We thought we were heroes, but we died as fools."
Beyond the storm. Is it safe? Let's find out, shall we?
Present and future Clint journey past the storm and find out Fury, Monica, and many others are trapped in stasis, frozen in time via the Cosmic Cube, Monica's Project Omega. Now knowing what happened in the future, present Clint promises to prevent this from happening. Part 4. Recover Project Omega. The mission. Roy discovers where Project Omega is being developed. He says that the readings are a 99.8% match. Knowing that Monica's weapon isn't going to work in the future, the Avengers head down to her base to stop her. As they get closer, they see alarming fluctuations of electromagnetic radiation. Monica believes that even if Project Omega has flaws, she will be able to fix it. As you descend further into the facility, you find the containment pod for the Cosmic Cube, and you work to disable it. After opening the containment pod for the cube, you are faced with Monica, and you must fight through her endless clones and take her down before she can unleash a massive energy wave, taking all of you out. Near the climax of the fight, Old Man Clint starts speaking, saying the time bubble and cube are doing weird things. After finishing the mission, we see Old Man Clint, and he latches onto Monica, dragging her down into an abyss, sacrificing himself. Present Clint wakes up with the cube next to him and realizes Old Man Clint is gone. We arrive back at the anthill, where the Cosmic Cube is going to be hidden. So there you have it. Now you're caught up to the full main story of Marvel's Avengers. War for Wakanda arrives tomorrow, and it brings us into the next story for the game. We'll see T'Challa and Wakanda in its full glory. I'll see you guys there. If you enjoyed this video, definitely drop a like. It was the first time doing this. If you like the channel in general, definitely hit that subscribe button. We're moving on up. I hope you guys like this video a lot. It's a different type of setting for me. But yeah, definitely check the description. I have a Discord. We do watch parties there. And Twitter, we're growing on there as well. It's a fun time. And Twitch, I am nearing 50 followers. It's pretty crazy considering I stream on there maybe once, twice a week at most. But definitely, I'll catch you guys around. Definitely hit that Discord though. It's a good time. But catch you guys in the next video. Have fun with War for Wakanda, and let's hang out. Peace.